Hello and welcome back. Rest days are important, very important. In the fitness industry, people know that on your rest days, that's when your muscles repair and you become stronger. You re-energize, and if you're like I was, on your rest days, you grow in anticipation for your next workout. So the same thing is true in the spiritual journey. When you have, and I'm not speaking of low energy days, but when you give yourself a break, or when you feel you have a day like I'm having today, a day where you just feel like resting is the right thing to do, there's a sense of playfulness, a lightheartedness in my rest for today. I'm rebuilding my energy. I'm growing, learning, absorbing, digesting. It's almost as though it's a transition in between 2 points. You do a lot of work, for example, on yourself, spiritually. And when you get to a certain point, if you keep pushing, you can actually do a bit of damage to yourself and regrow a new ego. The ego of more, the ego of wanting more. In the spiritual journey, a lot of times some people might get lost into the search for truth, deeper truths, ultimate truths, enlightenment, reaching for a goal. And it can become very, very fun. And when you have a day that you just feel as though there's nothing to do, and you can feel deeper inside as though having a rest in every aspect of your life is right, then that ego voice, if you've developed it in the past, or if you really like the idea of advancing in your spiritual path, then that ego voice can come in on your rest days and he can kind of destroy your rest. In the health and fitness industry, it's very well known, and this is a good analogy, that if you work out on a full stomach, you might actually vomit your food, the food that you ate. And if it doesn't come back up, you'll have an upset stomach and you won't digest your food properly. And the same thing is true when you've gone to a certain point in your path. and resting, digesting is the right thing to do. And here's the thing. How does a person know when it's time to digest? How does one know when it's time to not keep going but just enjoy the simple things? To kind of let go the reins for a minute and allow the horse to just graze naturally and just do his thing. Well, first off, it's how do I know? I just feel it. It just feels right to me. I live my life very intuitively. So to explain to you how to figure it out, that's very difficult. I don't know if I can, but what I can say is if you can recognize the voice inside of you that says more, 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 and that feeling of more, more, more is creating a sense of restlessness in you, then maybe a rest is what is required. Can you rest in that moment? Maybe not. but just allow and realize it's coming. And when it comes, try to recognize the voice of wanting more, the voice of greed. More, more, more. It wants more of everything. So there can be this fear that old patterns will enter your life and strengthen again on a day of rest. You might have another voice that says, well, if I let you rest, or if you rest, you're going to start losing progress. You're going to take steps backwards. And I want to remind you that in any endeavor, anything you go on, any journey, oftentimes it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back, maybe 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. That's just the cycle. That's how it goes. And the point, which is an extremely point I want to make right now, very, 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 very important. The point is not to constantly go forward. The point is to be okay with all steps in the journey, the steps forward and the steps back, in that letting go of outcome and control. In an inner yes, an inner just allowing of it. Ultimately, you're already there. You're already at your goal. And what can confuse people is that there's a duality, it seems, a paradox when it comes to this reaching of a goal. There's advancement in the physical 3D realm, your habits, your thoughts, that sort of thing. And then there's the truth of your inner being, your enlightened spirit, your soul, your essence, whatever you want to call it, the you that's already complete within you. So oftentimes, a person can lose themselves in that forward progress in the physical sense of things. And I'm speaking a little bit more in this video about the physical sense of things, because in the recognition and in the resting of that perfect aspect within you already enlightened, then whatever happens on the surface, in the physical, your habits, the things you do, things you want to build, your progress, then all of it becomes okay if you're stepping forward or stepping back, when you realize you're already at the top level, that nobody is higher than you. There's no need to compare with others. There's nowhere to reach to. Then a day of rest can have a real recuperative effect, when you can have an inner yes, an inner allowing, by recognizing, resting in that enlightened aspect that's already there in you. Because there is a part of you inside that feels this. It feels what I'm talking about. It understands what I'm talking about. It recognizes that you don't need to get more, do more, be more. It can see it as I'm saying it to you, as you're hearing it right now. And it's so simple. It doesn't need to be explained why or how. You can just feel it. And then there's that duality again, where the other aspect might come in. So I say, I can't give you what you need to know to recognize when it's time to rest. All I can help you with is to help you, give you some pointers that you can recognize when the ego is clinging on to progress, clinging on to the momentum created by a forward sense of motion in the journey. And in the recognition of it, maybe you can recognize your deeper self and rest in it. And allow the rest, full days, the digestion that's required for you to rebuild of that anticipation again of more, naturally, organically, without trying to force feed the spiritual journey onto yourself. What happens when you're already full and you try to eat? The same thing is true in the spiritual search when you're trying to advance. When you're already full, you can't eat anymore. At a certain point, resting is natural. Sometimes you need a spiritual fast. That's it. That's it. It's so nice with the sun kind of shining behind me like this when I'm making these videos. When I came out here today, I noticed when I was walking back. I'm gonna give you a, if you made it this far in the video, just a little turn to see what my yard looks like. So that's the neighbors there. That's not my house here. The houses are fairly close together. And that little camper there is mine. I still have to buy a truck for it. And my house is here. These are apartments, actually. There's an upstairs, which is just beautiful. And I have the downstairs with the basement. And this here is the garage, which nobody ever uses. The door is bashed in, unfortunately. And a little bit of a mess back there. I never really took much time to take care of that. And to be honest with you, I don't really care to either. There it is. The fence here. A few more houses in the back. And that brings us right back to where we started. So I leave you with that. Thanks for joining me. Thank you. Wherever you are around the world, whatever time it is that you're watching this video. Thank you. Don't take yourself too seriously. Enjoy. Peace.